Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Ridgeway coming from Cumberland at Home Summer Edition. Hope you guys are having a great summer and enjoying all the lessons that we've had so far. Today, we're going to get started with another passage. I really enjoy reading the passages with you because I feel like every time we read a passage, we grow as readers. So, we've read two before. We talked about text evidence, we talked about nonfiction text and fiction text, and really deciding between the two of them. And the one thing we've discussed every time is always thinking while you are reading, okay? So today's text we are going to read, the passage is What Can I Buy? It's page 43 in your packet. The title is at the top, What Can I Buy? The first letter of the first word is a uppercase W. So if you can find that in your packet now, that would be awesome. And it is page 43. There are some other pages right behind page 43 that you're going to need as well. These are your comprehension questions. We have 1 through 4 on page 44. We have question number 5 on page 45. And we have question number 6 and 7 on page 46. So after you have all of your papers together, this is pages 43 through 46. You're also going to need a pencil to answer your comprehension questions once we're done reading the passage. So I would go ahead and get that so that way you have it readily for your answering your questions. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have all your materials ready and we are ready to read. Before we get started reading, let's think about this a little bit. What can I buy is the title of the passage we're going to read today. So what can you buy? What are some things you really like to buy? What are some things you want to buy even when you become an adult? What do you use to purchase things, to buy things? What do you use? Can you trade a pencil for a movie ticket? Can you buy a movie ticket with a pencil? No, I'm with you on that one. Can you take all the candy that you've ever had and go to the grocery store and say, hey, I want a loaf of bread? No, I don't think so either. So what can you buy and what do you use to buy it? We're going to read this passage today and hopefully we can find out some more information about what can you buy. Before we start reading, I also want you to look at the illustration right here in the top middle of the paper. What do you think is going on in that illustration? Really think about it. What do you see? Well, I see someone with scissors and a comb. And I see someone's head and it's turned backwards. It looks like someone is cutting someone's hair. Great job, boys and girls, for looking at the illustration and really taking in the observation of what you see. So now that you're thinking about the title and you looked at the illustrations, what do you wonder about this passage? What do you wonder? What are some things you wonder? Think of some questions you can ask yourself before we read. What are some things that you notice? Great job, boys and girls. Way to start thinking before we even start reading. You guys are on it today. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start reading our passage. We're going to always start with the title. Remember, take your reader finger out What can I buy? People use money to buy things. They can buy goods and services. Goods are things. You can touch them. Clothes and food are goods. Toys are goods. Books are goods. Services are things people do for you. Having your teeth cleaned is a service. Getting a haircut is a service. Getting your car cleaned at a car wash is a service. Sometimes a good can be part of a service. If you go to a diner, a person cooks for you. That is a service. You also get food. Food is a good. Can you name any other goods and services? Can you name any more goods and services? I'm sure you have a whole list of them. Great job reading with me today. We're going to go ahead and look at our questions, our comprehension questions. We're going to start at number 1. I'm just going to read them to you first, like we've done before. We don't need to circle our answers yet. We're going to read it again so that way we are able to look for our answers while we are reading. So the first question says, what do people use to buy things? A computer. B, your toys. C, money. Number 2, this passage compares goods and services. How are goods and services the same? Is it A, people buy both goods and services with money? B, both goods and services are things you can touch. C, both goods and services are things people can do for you. Number 3, if you go to a diner, a person cooks for you. That is a service. You also get food at a diner. Food is a good. What does this information show? A, goods can never be part of a service. B, sometimes a good can be part of a service. C, goods are always part of a service. Number 4, what is the main idea of what can I buy? A, people can buy goods or services. B, people like to buy goods more than services. C, sometimes a good can be part of a service. Number 5, give an example from the passage of a service that you can buy with money. An example of a service you can buy with money is, they gave you a sentence starter there. So that way, all we have to do is complete the sentence in the blank. Not going to do that quite yet. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The B part of number 5 is draw people spending their money on services. So in that square, you're going to draw a picture. Our last question. What did you learn from What Can I Buy? What did you learn from the passage? And you get to draw a picture to match the words that you write up top. Number 7, let's explain the difference between a good and service. Then explain why you are buying both a good and a service when you buy dinner at a restaurant. Couple of things I want to bring to your attention when we read those questions. One of them is main idea. If you've never heard that before, the main idea is what is the passage or story or a book that you're reading, what is it mostly about? So we're going to think about that. What is this passage mostly about? We're also going to be thinking about the difference between a good and a service. So I'm sure that you heard that the first time we read it together, but this time I really want you to pay attention and be thinking while you are reading about the questions that we just read together. Because I think that those are really going to help you think about what you're reading and think about how those questions and this passage tie together and connect so that you're able to answer the questions correctly. All right, boys and girls, you ready to read it one more time? Go ahead and get your reader finger ready. What can I buy? People use money to buy things. They can buy goods and services. Goods are things. You can touch them. Clothes and food are goods. Toys are goods. Books are goods. Services are things people do for you. Having your teeth cleaned is a service. Getting a haircut is a service. Getting your car cleaned at a car wash is a service. Sometimes a good can be part of a service. If you go to a diner, a person cooks for you. That is a service. You also get food. Food is a good. Can you name any other goods and services? All right, boys and girls, let's get your pencil ready so that we can start answering these comprehension questions. Remember, 1 through 4 is multiple choice, so we're going to circle our answer. Number 1, what do people use to buy things? Is it A, computer, B, your toys, or C, money? Circle the correct answer. I think you're definitely going to get the right answer on that one. And if you aren't sure about your answer, what can we always do? Go back to your passage, find some evidence that supports your answer. I'm sure that your answer will be found in the passage. If you need to go back and look, that's A-okay. Number 2, this passage compares goods and services. How are goods and services the same? A, people buy both goods and services with money. B, both goods and services are things you can touch. C, both goods and services are things people do for you. Go ahead and choose either A, B, or C, and don't forget to circle your correct answer. Number 3, if you go to a diner, a person cooks for you. That is a service. You also get food at a diner. Food is a good. What does this information show? A, goods can never be part of a service. B, sometimes a good can be part of a service. C, goods are always part of a service. Go ahead and circle the correct answer, either A, B, or C. Number 4, what is the main idea of what can I buy? Remember, we talked about main idea before, so I know you're going to get this correct too. Is it A, people can buy goods or services? B, people like to buy goods more than services? C, sometimes a good can be part of a service. Choose your correct answer, A, B, or C. Circle it. Number 5. Give me an example from the passage of a service that you can buy with money. Key word, boys and girls, it says give an example from the passage. So what do you think you're going to have to do? That's right. You're going to go back and look in your passage. And if you need to reread it or look for an example of a service that you can buy with money. I'm going to let you look for that evidence so that you can find an example of a service you can buy with money in the passage. Once you find that example, you're going to complete the sentence. It says, an example of a service you can buy with money is, and you're going to give me you're going to write down the example that you found in the passage. What is an example of a service that you can buy with money? Go ahead and write your answer there. I know you guys are great readers and you're going back to look for that evidence in your text. Great investigators. Letter B, the second part of this question says, draw people spending their money on services. So you're going to draw people spending their money on services. And maybe you can even match these. Whatever you write here as your example, maybe you can draw in this box. And let's go ahead and use a pencil now, and you can go back and use your crayons or markers later. Great job, boys and girls. Number 6, what did you learn from What Can I Buy? What did you learn from this passage? We learned a lot about goods and services, so I'm sure you have a great answer to write there. Let's try to write that in a complete sentence. You can start your sentence with, I learned, or what I learned from What Can I Buy? Remember, a complete sentence starts with an uppercase letter and has punctuation at the end. It also has a what or a who, some action words, and some function words. So go ahead and complete that sentence. After you're done with that sentence, you're going to draw a picture in that box to match that sentence. What did you learn? And the last one, it says explain the difference between a good and a service. Then explain why you are buying both a good and a service when you buy dinner at a restaurant. So when you buy dinner at a restaurant, what is the good and what is the service? Well, let's think about it, boys and girls. When you sit down at dinner, you have a menu in front of you, or maybe a piece of paper, or maybe something fun to draw on, and you're usually there to get food, right? Maybe a drink, maybe some food, and that is the actual good, right? You're purchasing with your money a good, food or brownies or even some chicken fingers and fries. Whatever it is that you are purchasing, your food or your drinks is the actual good. What is the service? Well, who's going to bring you the food? Who's going to cook the food? Well, that is the service. The person who's in the kitchen, maybe a chef, is cooking your food, which is a service, and the person bringing you food is also doing a service. So, in a restaurant, you have goods and services. Well, boys and girls, I love talking about goods and services and what you can buy in today's discussion and reading about it and answering those comprehension questions together. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you continue to read because it really helps your brain to keep going and learn new things. You all have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.